Welcome everyone to another episode of Crysalyst Life. I am Katrina White.
And I am Susan Lynne. I just dropped in.
Well, welcome. Oh my goodness. We are going to have fun with this topic.
Yeah.
Our topic for today is perfectionism.
Perfectionism. And this one we did not have to study up on because we are experts at this one. We wrote the book on this. Actually, not literally, but we could. We could write a book on this one.
We wrote a book on the perfection of imperfection.
Yes. Not literally, but we could write the book on the perfection of imperfection.
Maybe it will be our next book.
Maybe it will be. We are creating right here. Although they could take the idea. Go fly with it. You can have it. That's fine.
Whatever. Let us know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this whole topic of perfectionism.
Yeah.
Oy vey in the biggest oy of vey.
Question.
Oh,
Katrina.
Yes.
Are perfectionists perfect?
No, farthest thing from it.
Right. So both of us have a big perfectionist streak.
Oh, it's awful.
Coincidentally, we were only born 4 days apart in the same year, so we tend to have a lot of kind of attributes similarly. So similar to each other.
It's a curse.
So, yeah, and a blessing.
And a blessing.
Yes.
It's always a blessing.
So with this perfectionism, we both learned to work with it. And explored individually, and now that we've met, what does it mean? Yeah, what is it? What is perfectionism?
I don't think perfectionism, well, other than I believe nature is perfect, I don't think anything is perfect, because what is perfection? It's in the eye of the beholder. What I deem to be a perfect roast, somebody might think is imperfect.
Right, it's a little bit not well done enough or something.
Exactly.
It's subjective.
Completely subjective. And that's why, you know, it really irks me that I spent, oh my goodness, since the day I was born, because my parents were obsessed with perfectionism, that trying to be the perfect child, and I was so perfectly imperfect.
Yeah.
As a teenager, the same thing, but constantly always driven to be perfect in the eyes of the beholder, which at that time were my parents and my friends and teachers and all that kind of stuff. And I'll tell you, it drives you bonky.
Yeah.
Because you can't achieve it.
Yeah.
And so you feel like you're a constant failure.
Yeah.
You know,
that's the thing.
It's awful.
That's the thing that I felt when feeling like I want to be perfect growing up. Because then then you don't make waves and everything's calmer if you can just be perfect. How could a human just be perfect? Like, what does that mean? It just means in the moment, do what the person says or something? I don't know. And then when I wanted to play violin, I studied violin. I got to tell you, this perfectionist thing does come in handy because I got so good so fast because I practiced and practiced, and I was really good at it. And then I was taking swimming lessons. I became an instructor very young, and I just was swimming perfectly. Like, that's the feedback I got. That's perfect. So that was kind of cool and it's been kind of cool in a couple of areas where it means that I can be driven in certain pockets of my life to get a really high level of performance out of myself. That is when I'm channeling it for good. When it's not good, it's when I'm just beating myself up because I didn't do something exactly the way somebody else wanted or something like that. And that's where it's very, very self-destructive, and there's no perfect violin playing, there's no perfect swimming anyway.
Well, because the bar keeps rising anyway.
You're your own little snowflake.
Yes.
So however you're expressing into the world, be.
Exactly. You know, on this thing about practice, so I was in competitive sports for many years.
Yeah.
And of course, I had to land that double sow cow, or, in the perfect, most wonderful way.
Skating.
And figure skating was one of the things I did.
Yeah.
And the challenge with that is today's perfection of landing a really good double sow cow is yesterday's news when the triple comes out and the quadruple comes out.
Yeah.
And God knows, we'll be flying next.
The pressure's ridiculous.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. So I totally understand the principles of being the best you can possibly be. In fact, I love that. And I challenge myself every day in a very healthy way to get stronger and better and wiser and all the good things that we talk about in all of our videos.
And learn things.
And it's all good. That I separate from the issue of perfection, though.
Mm-hmm.
Because being the best I can possibly be, being an A-class contributor to the world and all the good stuff that I want to do, to me doesn't equal perfection. To me is the best I can be.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And this thing called perfection, I think it's a carrot that you never eat.
I agree.
And that's why it's dangerous.
And I felt like I finally woke up to this, that, all I'm doing, I'm not going to be perfect as a perfectionist. Mm-hmm. All it means is I'm beating myself up. Yeah. I'm saying you fell short, you did that wrong, that wasn't good enough.
That's right.
And the anxiety that produced and the constant never good enough feeling that I had. And then I realized this is not accomplishing anything. This is actually, perfectionism just means beating myself up.
Yes.
That's what it meant to me. It didn't mean perfect. So I do recognize I have that streak in me. Mm-hmm. And now what I do to work around is I'm gentle with myself. I am just gentle with myself. I say, you know what? That was good. Mm-hmm. And you know what? Good enough is good for that thing that you, whatever that thing, for in this case.
Mm-hmm. Well, perfection, if you come from a place of perfectionism, it actually paralyzes you to even try a lot of things. Because if you can't be so-called perfect in whatever benchmark you're gauging yourself against, you often don't try, or when you try, you struggle, and then you look at it and go, that's not perfect. Well, to a lot of people, it is.
Wow, you can do that. That's great.
It doesn't mean giving up. So don't get for one moment that we're not talking about giving up and not being everything you can.
Yeah.
I mean, when I'm hosting a dinner party, I want everything to look just absolutely so.
Right.
It's based on my lens of what absolutely
and you have a
so
satisfaction of producing it in this exquisite way.
I feel good, but I'm not stressed.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a little OCD. Gotta be honest.
Yeah.
That's all right. I hate labels anyway.
Yeah.
What is obsessive compulsive behavior? Whatever.
Disorder.
You know what that means? My house is beautiful. And my underwear is folded and lined up perfectly. What?
How's that going to hurt?
So what?
Yeah.
It's pretty.
Yeah. And it's the being gentle with yourself, right? The accepting of oneself. And I did find that the perfectionism and the beating myself up was not productive. I did not get good results. I mean, I got results to a certain extent, but I just felt lousy and anxious all the time.
Yes.
And now what I do is I'm very gentle with myself, and I find that I can accomplish far more in life, and I can feel fantastic while doing it. Mm-hmm. That's it. It's the just being gentle with oneself, to me, was the remedy to the perfectionism.
Well, I put a gold star on us.
Yay!
Just like the teachers used to do.
Yes.
Oh, I used to relish in those little gold stars.
Yeah, me too. Working for
and we give you gold stars.
Yes. And get yourself some and stick them on your chart.
We hope that this has shed some light on our perception of the word perfectionism.
Mm-hmm.
It can drive you mad.
It can be very discouraging and anxiety producing, or can be used as a tool if you're gentle with yourself.
Yes.
To get some nice results.
And you don't take it so literally. Yeah. And also remember that perfectionism is in the eye of the beholder.
It's subjective. There is no perfect.
Totally
There's
subjective.
No right.
Mm-hmm. So there we go. I think that's enough on perfectionism.
Because
I have been perfectly imperfect.
Perfect. That's perfect.
Here's to perfectly imperfect.
Yes, that's perfect.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Crysalyst Life.
And that, as they say, is a wrap. And scene.
I love it. I love it. Ciao, ciao. Until next time. Mwah. We love you.